What's up, everybody? It's Rob Thacker and I want to welcome you to the new episode of Thack 615. I'm here with Laura Bragga.
Hi.
And Wanda Mullins.
Hello.
And they are responsible for the Guilty Grind. And I'm going to let Laura also introduce a new surprise that we'll talk about later in the podcast. But anyway, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me into your wonderful establishment. Let's just get down to it. Let me ask you guys first, Laura, how did you, as the owner, creator of the Guilty Grind, how did you end up all the way from, you told me, Verona, Italy,
yes, sir,
all the way to the United States? Tell me a little bit about your background there.
It always revolved around food. The reason why I came here is between work and, let's just call it work and love, you know. Back to the Guilty Grind, let's just say that I miss Europe. I miss the ability of buying bread. I miss the ability of having the Viennoiserie kind of croissant, you know, and the different style pastries that you would eat in the morning. And I thought, why not Gallatin? And here we are today.
Well, I'm glad you guys come to Gallatin. I got real excited when
I
found out about your opening because my wife and I had the opportunity to travel to Italy in 2019, and that just was a memorable trip for us. So how did you guys meet, though? That's the other thing, because obviously Wanda is your front lady, amazing barista who fixes my coffee when I'm in here perfectly every time. So she's awesome.
I know, right?
Always got the great smile. We'll welcome the customers with a great smile. Wanda, how did you all meet then? That's what I'd love to know.
Okay, so on January 31st, I remember this, I walked in and I just wanted to try the new bakery that was in town, and there was a line at the door, and I ordered a drip coffee, and so I came over to a table and I waited, and I was like, all these look so wonderful. I chose my pastries, and then I was just kind of waiting, and so afterwards, the manager at the time, she's like, oh, it's so hard to get help, and and all this, and I'm thinking in my head, I can. And so next couple weeks, I started training, and it was history from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So talk a little bit about your how did you come up with some of the unique concepts and are still coming up with unique concepts for the Guilty Grind? And then you also are hinting, are you getting ready to open? Why don't you tell the audience about that too?
Okay, so we have recently closed Philly's Grinders, which was a staple for Gallatin, and we definitely are grateful for the friendship that we're built with it and everything. But I think maybe Gallatin was asking for something else, and I might have went with the flow. So we are in the works of opening an Italian concept, which is going to be a little different than the average Italian concept. This is called La Veneta. It's a concept based on northern Italy, so the Veneto region. So think of Verona, Venice, cities that are going to be heavy in tortellini and some fresh pastas, and as well as risotto, gnocchi, braised meats, grilled meats. Think of it that way. We're also adding an Italian market. That's going to be in two phases. The first phase is our salumeria, which is going to be our daily meat, kind of like your quick meal. So you'll be able to buy some of our by the pound meat, like prosciutto, mortadella, things like that. Or you can also buy breads and quick sandwiches to walk out, and then at night they will have a full menu as a restaurant.
Oh, wow. Well, I know for myself and my wife will probably be visiting here a lot more since we're only about 15 minutes away. So, but anyway, well, so let me ask you this. So you mentioned the idea, the market, the Guilty Grind, which is the pastries, which again, when I walk in, I'm like walking out. In fact, a friend of mine and I were commenting on Instagram, the spinach feta pastry, which is
one of our biggest sellers.
Is an amazing pastry. If you get to the Guilty Grind, you've got to try it. So with this, what has been some of the biggest challenges, as well as successes, though, along the way?
The successes to me has been the pastry did very well, so I cannot deny that. But to me, my greatest achievement, I think, with the Guilty Grind has been really just the people I met. the people and the kind of support from everything, even the chamber and just local businesses as well. Like it's been just overwhelming. The things, I guess, moving forward with La Veneta, because of the concept with the market being broken into two phases, I think we would be able to like make sure that we incorporate it as in like bread service and things like that would just be shared, you know. But yeah, she's not going anywhere. My guilty grind is staying.
Awesome. That's
And Wanda
great.
too. I'm just saying.
So Wanda, where are you from originally? The Gallatin area, this area?
No, I'm not. I'm from 10 different states from coast to coast. So, and I've traveled a lot, and I can recognize a beauty. These are beauties, and these are very special. And I had no idea what I was in for when I YouTubed all the ways to make coffee because I didn't know. I'm a new barista. YouTube them over and over, but it's working, and my milk is better. But seriously, I love this woman so much. I mean, we were very fast friends, but her heart for serving quality food and giving people a taste of the world and bringing the world to the table is just so beautiful, and I love that so much.
That makes two of us, Wanda. And everybody who's been here, I'm sure. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask this: going forward with, I'll probably kill the name, but I'm going to say La Veneta.
La Veneta.
La Veneta. Okay, I'll get that. La
La
Veneta.
Veneta.
Okay, there we go. What, in terms of, you talked a little bit about what you're looking at because of the Northern Italy influence.
Yes.
So what are some of the things, like in terms of the menu creations that we can, like, do we have any sneak peeks? You mentioned gnocchi, and I saw that whole thing on Instagram.
So that's actually, when you're looking at our menu, the gnocchi and the risotto are going to be what I think and I hope are the start of the show, because it's something that is extremely typical of where I'm from. Northern cuisine is slightly different from Southern cuisine in Italy, because Southern cuisine is heavy on tomato and things like that, where we are more tomato, but let's make sure that we don't forget the little nice meat and a nice braise and a nice butter dish, you see. We have more of a French influence, or like Italian would say, the Italian took the French, but we don't know. It's, it's how you want to see it, but it's very close to their cuisine versus the Southern. It's going to be that heavy tomato and garlic and all of that. So I'm hoping that people can see this as a educational, nostalgic experience.
Awesome. Educational, nostalgic. Period. I like the way you say that.
I cook every dish in a way, okay. Every time I look at a product, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if I spend $70 on a piece of beef or $3 a pound on a piece of beef, okay? It's how we are going to cook it. How are we going to fix it, right? Every time I go into a dish, I think of the nostalgic, what makes me cook, right? I want to pass it on to you, but you did not live the same way I did. So you're not going to know what nostalgic it is, right? So I strive to create a nostalgia. It's unknown to you. Do you understand? Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's stay on the thing of nostalgic for just a moment. So growing up, what are some of your fond memories or favorite Italian dishes that you had? What were some of the fond memories or best times, like in terms of maybe it was holidays or seasons or things like that? You willing to share with us about that? Because I love those.
Not so much holidays, but just Sundays.
Okay.
Sundays are a thing. It's a thing. Sundays, because in Italy we don't really, the hustle and bustle is different. It's a slower hustle and bustle. But the weekend is huge. The weekend is when you spend time with the family. You spend time in doing the things that you're supposed to be doing to make everybody happy. But my fondest memory are the kitchen table.
Absolutely.
There was this little paring knife that my grandmother put out. Every time she made pasta, that paring knife appeared. And when I saw the paring knife on the table, when I woke up that morning, I knew that there was flour and I was about to hit that wooden thing. And I wasn't going to go anywhere, because you get to eat when you cook. That's what I was going to be, because by the time you eat the table, the boys get all the food. See?
Gotcha.
I learned young. But that's the nostalgic I miss, is what I try to give every time I cook, is I want you to try to imagine sitting at the table looking at the paring knife.
Nice.
The little paring knife that was so dull.
May I add something?
Oh, please do.
Okay,
Please
so
do.
there was one day I was walking through the kitchen,
Oh,
and she was like in her own world. She was like this, and I was like, Laura, are you okay? And she's just like, she was transported to another place. She
It's
had
food.
yes, yes. She was eating some of her bread, and she was definitely not here. But
Oh.
it was a moment, and I was like, it was special.
Well, and along that line, then I mean, customer experience. I mean, let's discuss that a little bit, because it sounds like because of your background and your experience, you're bringing that to your customers. You want them to, even though they may not be able to go to Italy, they come here to Gallatin and experience
Yes.
Italy. So, talk a little bit about that. What you're hopeful for. And
What I'm hopeful for is an open mind. I'm hopeful for the ability to understand that Italian food is more than what you see. It's a lot more rooted. It's a lot more heritage heavy, and just truthfully, I hope that it gets translated into the dining room, because the best that I can do is push it out of the kitchen. But I have faith that the people that I work with, my team, knows, I think, or understands. I don't know, but I got lucky. So I just hope that the customer feels it the same way we are giving it, if that makes sense. I hope the perception is as high as our expectation to push it out.
Oh, go ahead.
May I say something
Yeah,
else?
please
Translation
do.
for me.
Please chime in
Wonderful
anytime.
job.
Please chime
Okay,
in. You guys are doing
so-
great. This is
sorry.
awesome.
So she has this book called Setting the Table.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Setting the Table, and it's written by Danny Mir. Okay. So I was curious about this table. About this book called Setting the Table, and I started reading it, and this is where a lot of her grit and grace come from, is from this book, right? I believe. And so one thing I read that was just so beautiful was that when we are born, we're born needing 4 things: eye contact. We have eye contact. We have a smile. We have an embrace, and we have food. And so hopefully she sets that table for us as servers and her team, that is what she is wanting for her people that walk through the door.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Absolutely.
Set the table it's a really good book. I feel like everybody in hospitality should read it. It was passed on to me by a wonderful chef that I worked for, and just so happened I'm married too. My husband.
Right, and I did a little research. Not much, but I did a little research. I noticed that he went to the Baltimore Culinary School,
Yes.
which I'm originally from that area. So
yes.
I saw that. I thought, hey,
my
all
husband
right.
is probably he's an amazing chef, and probably one of the best person I had the pleasure to working with in the kitchen. Watching him, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The man can do things that I think are almost impossible. I call him the Alton Brown of the celebrities. Yeah, celebrities.
Nice.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, is he kind of is he going to get involved with a little bit with this, or what's his thinking
there is
here?
a little coming. We are hoping to, with La Veneta, start a butcher and bourbon program that he will be in charge of.
Nice.
So it's about, since grilling is going to be heavy around here, we thought, maybe people like to buy whole muscle. My husband at that point would be able to come in and do the class on that, and maybe bring in bourbons separate of the area, and play on that.
You've got me there. I
Yeah.
will definitely be coming. I would
He'll
let
be
me know when you start
involved.
having
He'll
those
be
classes.
involved.
We'll be here for that, definitely. So
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
There is quite a bit in the works. So fingers crossed that everything goes as planned, as we move as fast as we can.
Good deal. So let's come back and let's talk about community involvement for a minute. How do you talked about you've had the chamber, everybody's been so wonderful, very warm, very welcoming. So how do you picture you and your business returning back, giving back to the community?
Absolutely. We actually very recently did an event with the, was it the Sumner County Museum, I think? They had a summer camp. So we did their bread, their biscuits, and
Awesome.
we did cookies for them one day. So we'd love to be able to give out more. Actually, we have another program for day-old pastries. So,
Okay.
like, yeah, if you have soup kitchens or anybody really that can, like, if we can help anybody with the community or anything, just give us a call. We can hold the day-old pastries, and we'd love to offer anything that we can do for the community. But I can tell you the best thing I can do, it's always through let me feed you, because it's the best
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
my bread and butter, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. No pun intended, right?
No, all the fun.
That's awesome. That's great. So let's talk about this, because you're talking about, you've got the guilty grind, and then again the
La Veneta.
La Veneta. I'll get it, guys.
It's okay,
I promise.
it's okay.
La
It's
Veneta.
gonna take
Think
a while.
Venice, Veneta, La Veneta. I'll have it by the end.
Yeah, La Veneta.
How do you, in terms of managing both, how do you see that balance? And let me ask you this: would you have any tips for those that are involved in not just one business but multiple, just juggling different businesses? What would you say to that?
Surround yourself with thoroughbreds. That's
Okay.
it. It's that simple. You have to let go. You cannot micromanage. Micromanage never works. There is two type of bosses. I actually just sent them a funny video on Instagram, because that's the kind of boss I am. And the video says there is two type of bosses: the one that goes with the flow, and the one that has to know a week before you even move your foot forward. I like to think I'm a little bit in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I want their input, because I can tell you what my kitchen is like, but I am not in the dining room. So, and there is a lot that goes on, I think. But I surround myself with thoroughbreds, and thoroughbreds are going to win the race for you.
Gotcha.
You see what
Okay,
I'm
that's
saying?
a great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Surround yourself with
Yeah,
thoroughbreds.
not donkeys. Donkeys are great. There is nothing wrong with a donkey.
Right.
But in certain position, you want a thoroughbred, somebody who's going to care about what they're doing as much as you do, because you want them to go out and get it. You don't want them to call you every 2 minutes and say, "Is this okay? Is this okay? What about this?" No,
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and that honestly, that is so important that you bring it. I really
Absolutely.
love that illustration there, because it's so important to have the thoroughbreds, because when you get a delegate, they're going to handle it.
Absolutely.
They're going to figure it out on their own,
Yeah,
because we live in a world, honestly, and in one sense that we don't have a lot of thoroughbreds are limited. I'll just say it that way. I'll put it nicely and say
absolutely.
thoroughbreds
Yeah,
are limited.
they're very, very hard to come by. And I can tell you that for me, it's wonderful now. I mean, it's tedious because La Veneta is not even open yet, so there is a lot of back work that has to get done. But I know for a fact that the guilty grind is fine. Wanda actually brought in my manager now, Tali. And Tali is phenomenal. The reason why I don't worry about this is because I know for a fact that Tali, Wanda, and Ali will take care of everything. I just make the food. I tell them, "Hey, this is what is coming out this week. You guys do the rest." They have taken the guilty grind somewhere where I couldn't have done that.
Right.
No way.
Gotcha.
So you have to surround yourself with people who care.
And this is one of the thoroughbreds right here, right?
Oh, she is definitely. She's my winner. Think of
There.
her with like the roses crown.
Yeah, there
and
you go. There,
everything.
Kentucky
Yes,
Derby
yes,
winner
yes,
right here,
yes.
Wanda. You, the Kentucky Derby winner. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So let's talk about source for a moment, because I think I heard. Are you allowed to share trade secrets right now,
Let's
or
just say that I don't always share everything, but we do import quite a bit. We buy a lot of import because the ingredients I cook, I know, and I can stand behind very strongly. Not knocking anything you can buy in this country, but for the flavors or things that I'm like to bring to the table, I need certain things, and yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's gonna be great. I'm looking forward. Like I said, no wonder why everything tastes so good. When I come here and I want twice of it, two of everything, or twice of everything. So future plans. Let's talk about that a little bit. What do you see? Where do you see yourself a year from now, 3 years from now, even 5 years from now? If we want to have that kind of set that kind of a vision. I mean, it's always important to have vision.
I do, yeah.
And chase after your dreams and your goals.
Truthfully, I don't don't know. I mean, I envision myself being here, believe it or not, right here in this little building. I don't think I want to go anywhere else. I hope to be maybe less involved, and I hope that in the next year I can meet somebody who will take over the kitchen.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
in a way that I would take over the kitchen, being true to the menu, because nothing changes. We are not going to change. We're going to evolve with our people and with our surroundings, but the core and the company will always stay the same.
Gotcha. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Yes.
And I know the citizens of Sumner County, as well as Gallatin and Hendersonville, are very glad to hear that. Cheers to that, definitely, definitely. So, well, that's awesome. So let's talk about then too, if we can go from there. Let's talk about what would you say to aspiring entrepreneurs? What would your advice be? What would you say, in terms of how, what would your advice be looking to start up a business or a food business? What would be some things that maybe some mistakes you've made that you say, hey, this is what I've learned? Of course, I'm a big proponent that it's W's and L's, wins and learning, not losses.
Exactly.
And just that you continue. That's what I keep preaching to myself, as well as throwing out when I talk on social media and talk with people. It's wins and losses. So what would be some of those things that you would give advice to for future entrepreneurs or people that are aspiring to get into the food business or
the food business? I would say it's brutal. No joke around it. It's a sacrifice. If you want to get into this industry, you have to know that you will not have a personal life for a while. It is this industry, this is my personal opinion, the food industry is going to give back as much as you put in. If you don't give it your all, it's not going to give back all. You only get in what you're putting in. And to start up a business, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the camera and say, please go work in a restaurant for a year, 2, 10, then go think about opening one yourself. It's been a headache, but it's been a wonderful headache because it's your headache. It takes a lot. Don't stop at the first no. Don't stop at the first 10th no. Your time will come, and everything will just be a puzzle piece when the time is. Just sacrifice, persistence, and just a little bit of miracle. I think prayer has helped a lot. Absolutely. Just patience.
I agree. Persistence, being at it, yes. Being relentless. We have a saying, consistency is undefeated.
Exactly.
And it's easy to quit. It's so easy to give up and quit. I'm sure there are days where anyone who's in their own business understands that. There have been days I have felt that way too. So
there have been days for us here too. It's been hard, and also being that we're small. I don't have a big corporation behind me, so it's me, my husband, and the team that we have has been actually with us since we purchased Philly. So it's just been amazing, but it's just been hard. Right. You just have to put in the time and you have to put in the work.
So what has let's look at this a little bit interesting. What has been the thing that's kept you going? The persistency and not saying, I'm done, throwing in the towel. What do you think is attributed to that constant keep going at it, keep getting up, throwing the punches, get off the mat, throw the punches, even though when there are days that you may not feel like it?
I rely on myself a lot. It's me. I mean, I have a husband who supports me and a gorgeous family and everything, but in my life, I've always told myself it's me. I'm the one accountable for my own action. I'm the one accountable for my outcome. My destiny is not written, is what I like to think is predisposed, right? Mm-hmm. You might have a way that you're going in life, but that's not necessarily where you must go. You just have to get up and do it. It's not going to get done unless you do it, if it is something you want.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm just stubborn too, but we're not talk about that. Very
Yeah,
stubborn.
go ahead, Wanda.
Okay. And I also think she remembers the why. She remembers the why because I serve the pastries, and when they get the pastry, they're like, oh, they smell it, and then they crunch into it, and then that moment of, can I?
Mm-hmm.
That
That is
is
my
the
why.
That's the why.
That's the
That
why.
is my why.
Sorry.
No, that's great.
No, I love that. Thank
That
you.
is so crucial. Having your why is always
That is the why.
so important. It's so important. I know for me, it's my family. And I remember one time my daughter, I was having a hard time. Not this is about you guys, but she said, "Dad, you've got this." And so I've got that quote: "You've got this, Dad. You've got this." Even though there are days where I may not feel like I've got it,
Right.
but yeah. So those people, and I'm sure that's another thing. The people that come, not just you, your determination, and as you said, stubbornness. I understand stubbornness. My wife will tell you about stubbornness. But you got your support group too.
I do.
Right?
I mean, my family has been wonderful, and just the people of Gallatin too. The people of Gallatin have been surreal. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's been amazing. Everybody's been amazing. It's
Go for it, Wanda.
Go ahead.
Yes, and people who have their own businesses who want to share what they have, like the flowers or some tomatoes, or you know, I mean, just people who just like catch this vision and want a part. They want to just help it, and just people coming in and supporting it and loving it. Like they're like, don't go anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
No, we're here for a while. I hope.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great, y'all. Well, there's nothing more that I have to say except thank you, ladies, for joining me on this day. Any parting words of wisdom or anything that you guys have for anyone?
I would say just come and visit the Guilty Grind in Gallatin so you can have a gorgeous coffee made by one of our best baristas. And maybe be on the lookout for the opening on La Veneta, the local Italian restaurant.
All right.
Right.
Well,
Grazie.
ladies, thank you again.
Grazie.
Hey, guys, thanks for watching Thacker 615, and have a great day. Ciao.
Cheers.